Happy Monday, everybody. My name is Brandon Rosa, and welcome to episode 158 of the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. Every Monday, this podcast covers new game releases, the previous week's gaming news, and we all learn an Xbox-related fun fact together. This show is on YouTube and podcast services around the world, so please subscribe on your favorite and leave a review. Xboxin10.com, no numbers, is your quick source for links to all of our podcast destinations and social media profiles, which you can follow at Xboxin10. To start, let's talk game releases. The big games out last week were Destroy All Humans! Clone Carnage, and not a big game per se, but a special shout out to Super Perils of Baking, Colin Moriarty of Last Stand Media's newest game. The games coming out this week include Dead by Daylight Roots of Dredge, True Fear Forsaken Souls Part 2, Spellforce 3 Reforced, Space Lines from the Far Out, Nummels, Super Impossible Road, Square Keeper, and The Quarry. New games with gold for June 2022 have been announced. From Xbox One, available from June 1st to the 30th, Aven Colony, and then available from June 16th to July 15th, Project High Rise Architects Edition. From the Xbox 360, you can pick up on June 1st to the 15th, Super Meat Boy, and on June 16th to the 30th, Rascals. Now on to last week's biggest news stories, and we have 9 to cover this week, so it'll be a bit of a longer show. Number 1, Resident Evil 4 Remake officially announced for next year. Matt Purslow at IGN writes, Capcom has officially announced the long-rumored remake of Resident Evil 4 via Sony State of Play today. Resident Evil 4 Remake will also be coming to Xbox and PC via Steam. What's more, we got a pretty solid look at the remake via a detailed cinematic trailer captured on PS5 and a release date of March 24th, 2023. We also learned that there's PSVR 2 content in development, though no further details of that component were shared. And per Capcom, we'll get to enjoy the remake on Xbox Series S and X and PC as well. According to a PlayStation blog post shared following the event, Resident Evil 4 will be a reimagining of the 2005 game's storyline, with an aim to achieve state-of-the-art quality for a survival horror suitable for 2023, while preserving the essence of the original game. It looks like there may be changes to the original's controls in addition to graphical updates. Suggestion of a Resident Evil 4 remake came as part of a Capcom leak in late 2020. A data breach reportedly discovered references to an RE4 remake among other future Capcom projects. The latest reports from the rumor mill suggest that the project was subject to a partial reboot within Capcom due to internal disagreements over its direction. As I've mentioned on the show before, if it isn't my favorite, it's amongst the very top 3 favorite franchises of all time. I love the Resident Evil games. 2 is my nostalgia favorite game, but Resident Evil 4 is objectively the best. I played it on almost every console it's released on, going back to the GameCube, to the Wii, to Xbox 360, Xbox One. I don't think I played it on PC, and I want the Quest 2 so I can play it in VR so badly. So this is easily my most anticipated game, and hopefully I won't have to wait too much longer if it doesn't get delayed. Early next year, perfect time, Series X, it's gonna look great, the RE engine looks phenomenal, can't wait. Number 2, Modern Warfare 2 Worldwide Reveal set for June 8th may be coming to Steam. Tucson Egan at Polygon writes, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the direct sequel to 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, is set to launch this October. In the lead up to its release, Infinity Ward and Activision announced Thursday that the worldwide reveal of the game would happen on June 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's not all. If a certain tweet from the official Steam Twitter account is any indication, the Windows PC version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 might also be launching on Valve's platform. The game will also be available through Activision Blizzard's Battle.net, according to a teaser image on that website. While entries in the Call of Duty franchise have been available to purchase on Steam with 2018's Call of Duty Black Ops 4, the series became exclusive to Battle.net on PC. This is exciting. The original Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite multiplayer experience of all time, given the time in my life, my friends, we were addicted to game battles, the whole 9, and I loved what they did with the reboot in 2019. If history is any indication, this will be the best-selling game of this year, far and wide, so this is going to be a great time to get a peek at what we're going to be experiencing. Number 3, Street Fighter returns to Xbox in 2023 with Street Fighter 6. Will Tuttle at Xbox Wire writes, One of the most iconic and storied fighting game series returns to Xbox in 2023 when Street Fighter 6 launches for Xbox Series X and S. Powered by RE Engine, the same tech that has given us gorgeous photorealistic visuals to Capcom franchises like Resident Evil and Devil May Cry, Street Fighter 6 is shaping up to be the best-looking entry in the series. While we eagerly await the full cast of fighters to be revealed, we're stoked to see the return of some fan-favorite legendary warriors like Ryu and Chun-Li, as well as recent stars like Luke from Street Fighter V and the newest reveal, Jamie, who not only looks to be a bastard breakdancer, but also comes equipped with a wide range of fighting styles. With its stunning visuals tailor-made for Xbox Series X and S, we're looking forward to exploring the expansive universe that Street Fighter is set in, and learning more about the 3 foundational new modes: Fighting Ground, Battle Hub, and World Tour, the immersive story mode where players can create and leave their own legacy. One could argue this is the biggest news of the week. It's been dire on Xbox for the fighting game community over the pretty much last 8 to 9 years. Having Street Fighter V exclusive to PlayStation 4 was a big miss on Xbox's part, so it's good for the fighting game community that it is returning to our platform in 2023 with Street Fighter 6. Fighting games don't personally do anything for me, but it is obviously a very big community. Number 4, the Callisto Protocol release date and first gameplay revealed. Tom Marks at IGN writes, "The Callisto Protocol gameplay has finally been revealed alongside a release date for December 2nd, 2022. A third-person survival horror game developer Striking Distance Studios was founded by Dead Space creator Glenn Schofield. In a post on the PlayStation blog, Schofield explained, quote, "I'm excited to be returning to my roots with an all-new take on the sci-fi survival horror genre," end quote. That influence is clear in its reveal trailer, with horrifying monsters and zombie-like creatures all throughout its futuristic setting of Jupiter's moon. You play as Jacob Lee, voiced by Josh Duhamel, who's a prisoner on the moon trying to survive during a, quote, "mysterious outbreak," end quote, that's mutating people into terrible monsters called biophage. Schofield says, quote, "Horror starts with atmosphere," end quote, and that special attention has been paid to things like lighting and the PS5's 3D audio. The Callisto Protocol will also take advantage of the DualSense controller's haptics for everything from heavy enemy footsteps to swinging your weapon. Speaking of combat, the blog post describes it having a strategic combat system that forces players to get up close and personal with our horrifying creatures. Additionally, you use a gravity weapon named the GRP to mix ranged and melee, allowing you to do things like freeze enemies in place or use pieces of the terrain as a defensive tool. The Callisto Protocol was originally supposed to be set in the same universe as PUBG, but it was recently announced that was no longer the case. I am very excited for this game. Somehow I missed the Dead Space franchise even though I love survival horror, so it's great to see that they're coming back in a new way with the former creator of Dead Space. Very excited to get my hands on this, and it looks stunning on this gameplay reveal. Can't wait to find out more, and I do hope it hits that date of December 2nd. What a power move that is, coming out a month ahead of the Dead Space remake if both of these dates actually are hit. Number 5, Dragon Age Dreadwolf is the next Dragon Age game. Matt Leone at Polygon writes, BioWare announced its next Dragon Age game back in 2018 and on Thursday revealed its name, Dragon Age Dreadwolf. According to a blog post on BioWare's website, Solace, introduced in Dragon Age Inquisition, is the titular Dreadwolf and the game's antagonist. Invoking Solace, quote, "no doubt suggests a spectrum of endless possibilities on where things may go," end quote, BioWare says. The post says, quote, "some say he might be an ancient elven god, but some say not. Others say a betrayer of his people, or a savior who now seeks to rescue them at the cost of your world. His motives are inscrutable, and his methods sometimes questionable, earning him a reputation as something of a trickster deity, a player of dark and dangerous games," end quote. As BioWare points out, it's teased the character's return back during the game's announcement in 2018, yet it says the game won't require existing knowledge of the series for new players wanting to jump in. BioWare says in the post that it will share more details of the game, quote, "later this year," end quote. Boy oh boy does BioWare need this game to hit not only critical acclaim, but commercial success as well. Mass Effect Andromeda was such a down point in the franchise, even though I liked that game once I got about 60 to 70 hours in. Anthem was a dud. I personally liked Anthem, but it had no business being what it was for a game from BioWare with such a prolific history with great characters and stories. I don't know what they were doing with EA making them make a live service game, but history is the way it is. This is their coming back story after a very well received Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Let's see what they can do. I won't be picking this up day one, but there's many Dragon Age fans out there. Number 6, Madden NFL 23's gameplay changes revealed, including fan requests for franchise mode. Ryan Dinsdale at IGN writes, EA has revealed the gameplay changes coming to Madden NFL 23, including the addition of fan-requested features in its franchise mode. Akin to career mode in FIFA or MyGM in NBA 2K, franchise has been heavily criticized by fans in recent years, but Madden NFL 23 promises a built-up and refined version which includes staff management, weekly game planning, and scouting. New free agent tools, improved trade logic, and increased scout decision-making also increase the authenticity, all packaged together with a simplified user interface intended to create a stronger understanding of how to build a strong franchise. For those looking to launch a solo career, Pace of the Franchise mode has also received some upgrades. Headlined by the addition of the cornerback position for the first time, the similar upgrades to franchise mode apply here too, such as the improved trade logic and so on. While most core systems have been improved, Madden NFL 23 also introduces new technology called FeelSense that EA said, quote, provides the foundation for consistent, ultra-realistic gameplay, end quote, by providing players with more control at every position on the field. The authenticity of Madden NFL 23 also seeps into its visuals as new player-locked 4K touchdown camera emulate the NFL broadcast experience. Player silhouettes now have more body type built from the actual NFL player scans, and stadium details from exteriors to towel placements have also been improved. EA announced on June 1st that John Madden himself would be this year's cover star following his death last December. 3 new covers show a Madden as a broadcaster and a coach, alongside a recreation of the original John Madden football game from 1988. There's a lot more minutia about the changes made in this year's Madden, and they seem more extensive than in previous years. Let's see if they can actually be more well received, as it seems like the past couple of years, Madden has just been on a downward spiral with just being games. Number 7. Tell Me Why is free on Xbox and Steam for Pride Month. Cass Marshall at Polygon writes, Tell Me Why, a narrative adventure from Don't Nod Entertainment and Xbox Publishing, will be free on Steam, the Microsoft Store, and Xbox consoles throughout June to celebrate Pride. Tell Me Why stars a pair of twin siblings, Tyler and Allison Ronan, who are dealing with the death of their mother and a unique telepathic link. Tyler is also a trans protagonist, which is still a rarity in gaming. Don't Nod made several efforts to make Tell Me Why inclusive while avoiding problematic tropes that often surround the trans characters. The developer even released an FAQ before the game's launch that allowed fans to see whether certain tropes for trans characters would pop up, such as a disapproving parent. The game also features interesting questions about reality and perception, showing the twins' different takes on memories from their past. I wanted to highlight this as this was a great story, especially during Pride Month. Tell Me Why was an excellent game from one of my favorite developers in Don't Nod, famous for Life is Strange, so I would highly recommend it to everyone. Number 8, Destroy All Humans 2 Remaster gets an August release date, and a standalone spin-off is out now. Ryan Dinsdale at IGN writes, Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed is coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on August 30th, and players who pre-order can play a spin-off today. The spin-off called Destroy All Humans Clone Carnage is a standalone multiplayer game that lets 2 players team up in couch co-op, or 4 players when online. Clone Carnage comes with 4 modes, Rampage, Armageddon, Race, and Abduction, across 6 maps, and can be downloaded immediately if players digitally pre-order Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. Alternatively, you can buy it separately for $12.99. The remaster, on the other hand, is the more traditional Destroy All Humans open world adventure game experience set in the swinging 60s. Players can explore Bay City, Albion, Takashima, Tunguska, and the Moon either solo or in split-screen co-op. While the original Destroy All Humans 2 was first released in 2006, a remaster of the first game was released in 2020, which led many to speculate if the sequel would receive the same treatment. I don't remember if I ever played 2 back in the day. I really enjoyed the first one, even though I didn't play the remaster when it came out back in 2020. Lots of fans, cult classic, enjoy it this year. And number 9, June's Xbox update lets players reveal secret achievements. Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle writes, Microsoft has announced details of June's Xbox system update. It introduces the ability for players to reveal details about secret achievements, including the title, achievement description, and gamer score. Quote, you also see improvements of the speed and reliability of detecting available updates both in your collection and when you launch a game, end quote, Eden Mary, an engineering lead at Xbox, wrote in a blog post published on Tuesday. Earlier this week, Mary also suggests it's unlikely Microsoft will bring back Xbox's Snap feature, which enabled Xbox One players to use secondary app like YouTube on the right side of their screen while playing a game. Quote, while we all miss Snap, I don't think it's coming back, end quote, she tweeted. The feature was removed in 2017 in a bid to improve multitasking, reduce memory use, improve overall speed, and free up resources going forward for bigger things, according to former Xbox executive Mike Ibarra, who is now president of Blizzard Entertainment. This is cool. As someone who's recently been looking into achievements, as I dial it in for 100,000 gamer score, I hate that you can't see the secret achievements without having to look up something online. I love these little quality of life updates, and that it'll be snappier and quicker when we use it. As always, we end our show with a fun fact about Xbox, and let's go into the Resident Evil history, as we now know Resident Evil 4 Remake will be coming to Xbox and PC early next year. Credit to John Chern at GameRant. Resident Evil was originally going to be a remake of another game. Before Resident Evil was conjured up, there was Sweet Home, a Capcom RPG from 1989, based on a Japanese horror film that follows a film crew making their way through a haunted mansion. Resident Evil was originally intended to be a remake of this game, but plans changed as development went on. That said, many similar elements ended up in the finished product, including the mansion setting, emphasis on puzzles and survival, and multiple endings. It's always cool to see how these franchises started, and I never knew that this started as a remake. It's also interesting that that game was following a film crew, given what we saw in Resident Evil 7. Thank you all for listening to the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. I want to give a shout out as this week we are celebrating our 3-year anniversary of the show to everyone who supports, listen every week, and please, if you could do me one favor, go to your podcast service, share it with your friends, and leave a review. It's going to help grow the show, and I'll continue to do it every week without missing a week like I've done over the last 3 years. This past week, I had some time to play games with my friends. I jumped into Apex Legends, played a couple of times. I just couldn't get into it. I loved that game when it first launched. I was addicted to it, but for some reason, it didn't do anything for me. However, Destiny 2, keeping at that, weekly content with the new season, loving it, playing with my friends, grinding for new gear, just an absolute blast. My name is Brandon Rosa. You can follow me on Xbox at Rosa93. Hope you all have a great week. Stay safe, keep on gaming, and let's go. The Xbox Bethesda Showcase is less than a week away.